Hello and welcome to another episode of Trackside Tips. My name is Storm Dafoe and I'm joined again by Jackson Wittup, who is the racing secretary here at Century Downs Racetrack and Casino, and Fred Gillis, who is the executive director of ASHA. Let's talk about Sunday's races.
We can talk about Sunday's races. I'd still like to talk about the weather. It hasn't warmed up since we did our last show at all. Fred, I don't know why that is. Race 1, Criminal Record is interesting to me, Fred. This is a 2-year-old that raced at good old Holland, Manitoba, won by 25 lengths last weekend or a couple weekends ago. That was a phenomenal mile. If anyone wants to look up the rest of those races, aged horses couldn't go in 2-2. I don't know what to do with this horse. Kelly Hort, great for him for doing homework. He bought into this horse and is now trainer driver. Criminal Record, one of my favorite horses to watch this weekend. I'm going with Sonalta Express coming out of the stakes races. He's done all right in this class, but Sonalta Express over Criminal Record.
Well, it'll certainly be interesting to watch, but I agree with you, Sonalta Express, Jackson. I think he always paces home strong, probably more consistent last quarters than any of them, and he's probably prepped to get the job done here.
Yeah, and it's not the toughest non-winners of 2 for this time of year by any means. Second race is a split of that the non-winners of 2 event. Rock and Roll Dragon, Sanford Campbell claimed this horse a couple starts ago, put him in to go last week in with this exact same type of race. He won it handily by 6 lengths. How do you go against that horse?
I can't. I mean, he got home in 28-1, and I think if they'd have chased him a little more, he would have been faster. I'm going with him.
I think I'm going to go with him too for my play of the day. This is a first start for New Connections, so it'll be exciting to see what happens.
Sure.
Next 2 races are great races, Fred. 2-year-old colts are just in with themselves this week. Glad to see that. There's 2 8-horse fields coming up. Good race for me. I'm going to go outside the box a little bit here. Just Mac. So Terrace brought this horse over from BC. I know he liked him at the time. Made a skip on him the first start in the qualifier. Came back, qualified okay, but he did get beat. Just Mac. He's left him and gone home now. He's left him with Chris Lancaster. Hot trainer. I'm going to try Just Mac.
Yeah, we haven't spoke before today, obviously, but I went with Just Mac. I said, why not him in a close one? Young Chris Lancaster's hot. Therese usually develops and picks out a lot of good young horses. So, yeah, I went with him.
Keith Clark, the old veteran, speaking of arts, got an art speak horse in there, outside bred, so he's going to have him ready. The outside non-Alberta breds don't get too many starts. He's got a stake race coming up, so he'll be at his peak today. Got to look at speaking of art as well.
For sure. I mean, the 2-year-olds that are non-Alberta bred only have a couple of shots at races, so they have to be ready.
Then we go to the 4th race. Good race here. I'm going back on the Alberta bred bandwagon. Ragged but Right. That was a very impressive qualifier. Tough race in here. They've got a horse coming in from Ontario for this one too. King of the West qualified at Grand River. Was purchased out of the Cullen stable. Don't know what to expect of him other than he's Alberta bred coming home. I'm going to go with number 5, Ragged but Right.
And I'm going to go with HF. It's Bambi. Nice handle. But I watched the qualifier. I like the gait of the horse. I think they went crazy fractions in there, Jackson, for a 2-year-old. But I like the way he paced, and I think he fits in here.
Yeah, and he showed he was green. Brandon had a little trouble keeping him off the horse in front of him. Couldn't steer him all that good. Caitlin's got another week now to work on that. Yeah, I can certainly see where you're going with there. 5th race, we go on to another tough race. Outlaw Dance with the Devil, racing so good. Probably going to get away last. I'm going to pick him, but do you think he can overcome the post position?
The program says here, can't go against the devil. It's he's really been racing good, and with the 7-horse field, I don't think he's ever going to be more than 5 lengths out of it, 4 lengths out of it, hitting the last turn, and I think he can make that up.
Just to start, Keith's horse is racing very good, but he did get beat out on. He got beat last week by Outlaw Dance with the Devil, fair and square. So I'm going to go back with him. 6th race, Fred. We might as well just end it right here. We seem to always pick the same horses, but we'll give you another chance. You're on the bandwagon of It's a Great White for some reason. I can't imagine you're going to stay on that bandwagon. I keep picking Fanatical Maniac. He doesn't get there either. I'm going to go outside here and take Paradise Hill, new to this class. I don't know. I'm got to think by your reaction you are too, but Paradise Hill, I'm going to give him a chance. I'm not sure he's going to be ready yet, but he's new to this class.
No, I think he'll be ready. Rod will have him train up. This was a pretty high-quality colt early, raced in the spring, had a break. He's back. His qualifier is pretty reasonable, and I'm going to take a shot on him also.
Seventh race, good group of racehorses here, just knee knockers. They're very good. I'm going with Senga Nitro dropping out of the open. He hasn't been real competitive in there, but I think in this group he probably will be.
The horses are either twice as good or we only need one person today. I've got Nitro dropping down, class relief. Why not?
Eighth race, I got to think we're going to take the same one. Icy Blue Scooter. He's had a couple weeks off. Maybe Nathan was just giving the competition a chance to make some money. But how do you go against Icy Blue Scooter? Obviously, Baylor out could keep them honest. They both like the front end. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. And then you've always got I'm a Dude in there too. So I'm going Icy Blue Scooter. I think he's the champion of this meet. But there's others.
Yeah, I got go for the blue. I think he's the best in the West. I think he's proven he was the best in the West. I mean, he's beatable sometimes, but he's the one to beat every time.
Ninth race, now we get a little tougher. I know you've been jumping on our Army Captain Hanover in the past. I can't pick this race at all. Very good race. I'm going to go Army Captain Hanover. If I was in the win 4 and alive, you'd want more than that. But I would suspect you're going back to Army Captain Hanover.
And I'm not. For a change, we're different. I'm going with Chase Me Forever and Blaine Chapel. I thought he raced really respectable in the stake. He got home 27 apiece. I think he can work out a winning trip here. And you get a little value for your money, perhaps.
Yes, you will. I think so. 10th race, another good race here. I'm going to go outside the box a little bit. Boiling Ore drew inside. He's had the outside a few times. I think he gets a chance to control his own destiny a little bit. Good race here. Let's go Boiling Ore for me.
I've actually picked Boiling Ore from the rail. I have the 9-horse in here, Exit Smiling. He's been off a couple of weeks. His foot was bothering him a little, but he's back. He's sound. He's good. And he could work out a good trip behind him. So I picked Boiling Ore with my brain and Exit Smiling with my heart.
There you go. Hopefully the heart wins out for your sake. You still got to pay the bills with your heart.
You bet.
Well, thank you so much, Fred and Jackson. This has been Trackside Tips. Post time on Sunday is at 1:15 p.m. at Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. My name is Storm Dafoe, and we will see you at the races.